Hello YouTube, welcome back guys. In this video, I recently, actually just this week, I was able to repair this TV myself. And to be honest, I'm not a professional or a technician. I do have some good understanding about electronics in general, but I'm not really certified technician, I should say, or somebody who have received professional knowledge. I'm just an average DIY guy who basically watches videos on YouTube and learn and maybe use my own common sense to repair a lot of electronics, and like to share this information with rest of you guys to benefit the community and help save some money, because prices of TV repair, it's pretty crazy out there, and I think it's pretty stupid when people have to buy a brand new TV for something small issue or maybe something with a board related. So I've been watching a lot of videos on how to repair Vizio TV, but and a lot of people say in this video, I would recommend you to watch this video till the end, because I will be sharing a lot of useful information. It may not fix the first resolution in your TV, but may help the second one and so forth. So there's a bunch of information I'm going to include. It will save your time, because I have done a lot of research already, and because again, the goal was to fix my TV, and as I was able to fix mine, it's working completely perfect. I thought maybe I can share with you guys to save your time, so you don't have to do the whole research from beginning to end. And I also did this little hack, and I'll show you later about this, how I did all that. This thing is kind of recommended, but anyway, long story short, let's start this puppy. But these are the tools. Not everything is recommended, and also about the your skill set. You don't have to be professional or pro, so do not underestimate yourself when it comes to a TV repair. It can be simple. I'm telling you, like in this one, it was as super simple fix. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna share the whole thing. But anyway, the tools I need, or not really need, I'm using this drill machine to open the screws just to speed up the process, but you can use a regular Phillips head screwdriver. This is a magnet. I like to use it just because it just pick up the screws, right? It's a powerful magnet. It pick up the screws so I don't lose it. You don't have to have it. Multimeter is good, depends on the issue. In the issue I'm going to discuss, you don't need the multimeter, but it's good to have handy for other issues. This is definitely recommended. This is just I bought it from Harbor Freight. It's just a heat gun. It has two settings. The max is 1500 watt. I believe the lowest one is either 1000 watt or 800 watt. This is definitely recommended. Also, a quick hint I can give you about how I fix this TV. A lot of people online say, bake your circuit board and basically the main board, put in the oven for like 300-400 degree Fahrenheit. And I was just, to be very honest, I'm comfortable with electronics, but I did not feel comfortable putting my circuit board or main board in the oven. And the reason being is, there's a lot of little plastic components on the thing. I do not know, they're set, I don't know, heat, like a temperature, they are okay with a heat safe type thing. I did not feel comfortable, but so I decided to try this heat gun method, and it worked out completely perfect. I was able to repair in a matter of, I would say, less than 5 minutes after I was done with all the research of days. So anyway, without wasting time, I'm going to show you step by step, and the reason I'm doing this, so if you are opening your TV the first time, so you know how to open it and what are the things to consider when opening the TV backside. Because again, you don't have to be professional. You can be somebody who is completely brand new, whose TV just got broken, and they don't know what to do. They're about to throw this TV in trash, or you may have picked up this TV from someone on Facebook type thing. So this is the video for those people. Again, skilled people can also watch, but I think this relates to a lot more basic people, just average users that just their TV broke down and they need help. That's it. And also, by the way, I bought this TV on Facebook for $20, and the reason was, hey, I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance. If I fix it, it's good, but all I know, the parts inside worth more than 20 bucks. That's all I know. And so I'm like, yep, I'm gonna pay 20 bucks. And it came with the remote, genuine Vizio remote. I know the remote is easily $10+. So, you know, it's a win-win situation. If I fix it, it's good. $200 TV or $150, whatever you want to say. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna start opening all the screws. I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna pause the recording. But yeah, I'm gonna just maybe do one or two with you guys, and then rest can be offline. But yeah, here you can simply see I'm just using my drill machine. Like this one. I'm going to use my magnet here. Come on. And of course sometimes they don't come out, so I just like to use my screwdriver. There you go. So the one is out. When you hear that little click noise, you know it already went out of the thread. So second one is out. Anyway, I'm going to pause the recording, and as far as screws, the only thing I would say you have to pay close attention is these tiny one. They're also kind of like hidden, but you have to open these one because that is where your main board is, and that's why you can see the fan right here. But yeah, there are 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 here, the rest are pretty straightforward. So I'm going to open all these and I'll be back. Just give me like, I would say literally 3 minutes or so, but yeah, I'm gonna pause it. So give me just a few seconds. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I already removed all the screws. Here you can see all the screws are here, nice and easy. So that way I don't lose any screws when I'm kind of putting everything back. So the very first thing is, of course, common sense. Just remove the power cable. I had to remove the USB just because I have this fan built in. And yeah, let's remove it. So yeah, very first thing, you have to kind of be very cautious when removing this big lid is the one cord that's attached to, and yeah, here I also remove these 4 screws. Okay, here you can see it's completely, basically this is how exactly how it's going to look like when you open the first time. This tiny cord, and I guess, you know, I'm going to give you a quick small tip or warning. When you remove it, you know, there's still some amount of like a voltage that's held by the capacitor on the power circuit, or main board I should say, or power supply, not the main board, power supply, which is this one. And how do I know about this? Because this is where here you can see the socket, that's where you plug your power cable. So you know this is what basically take 120 volt AC and it convert to DC. Now how many DC, that's another thing, and here you can kind of see what I will be kind of discussing more. So this is basically the output is, it basically gave, you know, different type of voltage from 12 volt to like 3 volt or 5 volt, and here I believe it's 24 volt, as you can see. So yeah, that's where the multimeter comes in handy. But what I did to fix this TV, of course it helped because I was able to narrow the issue down, but in reality my heat gun was the magical instrument. But anyway, but yeah, this little green wire which is connected to this actually is like a little button on the back of the TV. So this is what you have to be very careful. So do not just remove the lid, like, you know, don't just like pull it forcefully. So you have to kind of be patient with this and use the 2 hand. Of course I'm holding my camera, there you go. So once you remove it, it's completely released. Now you can put this backside aside. You do need this one. What I did, basically remove these 2 screws. You remove this thing, remove the tape. So you take this puppy out, and that way you don't have to have the lid connected because it's a big and heavy lid. So you can literally, like, you know, kind of put it outward, and then you can press button to test it without closing the entire thing. So anyway, just to kind of give you a quick overview when you open the TV the first time, and again, this is not related to purely Vizio. This common sense pretty much applied to the most smart TVs nowadays. When you see this side where the power cable plugs in, that's more as a power supply, which takes 120 volt. Convert the power to DC, and DC again, when you touch with your hand, it's not going to give you a shock. AC current will give you a shock. You know, it can be a life-threatening situation, but try to avoid touching the AC because that is purely dangerous. So that's AC. Now, some of the components hold AC, but as soon as this transformer, it goes through the transformer, it converts to DC voltage, which they call it direct current. It's not dangerous anymore. But again, I would not risk touching this thing because even though power cable is unplugged, it might be these capacitors still be charged. So ignore this part. Now this little one is basically your panel, what they call the LCD panel, this is where this thing is talking. It basically take the power 24 volt from here, and then it sends signals to here to the main board, and that's where this black cable you can see. This is pretty much the main cable that all the pixels or the display goes to this little board. I guess I don't know the exact name, but this basically takes all the signal for video, and that's where it converts to these two big ribbon cables and goes to a screen. Speakers are common sense. Now that's the main puppy. In most TVs in Vizio, this is the culprit. This is what goes bad. Now why it goes bad, which again, I've seen a lot of videos. A lot of people don't talk about why it goes bad. They tell you how to fix it, but they don't tell you why it goes back. Well, the biggest problem it goes back is the heat. Heat is the culprit of most TV nowadays. And that is why one thing I always do, the TV you buy, you spend money, always put this literally like few bucks fan. And I did not even spend anything. This was just the old computer fan I had. I like to do this pretty much on every TV I have. And the reason is it keeps your TV cool. If you're watching for a few hours back to back, 5 hours, 10 hours, this fan keep your TV cool. And if you think about it, if this TV manufacturer like Sony, Samsung and all these big companies, even Vizio, if they can build a smart TV, they are very smart people. They understand their, circuit board, main board, their equipment heats up. Well, if they know if it heats up, why are they not putting a simple few bucks fan in the $1,000, $800 or $500 TV? Well, the bad reality is they want TV to be broke. That's how they charge money for warranty and all this nonsense thing. I mean, again, I'm saying nonsense, but this is how the business works. This is how this world works. So, I mean, if you think about it, why did they put this thick? You see how thick it is? Look at that. This is very thick heat sink. So yeah, why did they put that? Well, because they know it gets so super hot. And it by the way, it does get very hot. I was not able to touch it. That's where I was like, no, we have to have some sort of fan to keep this puppy cool. Otherwise, the problem it had originally, why somebody got rid of this TV for 20 bucks and I got lucky, it would happen again. I know how to fix it, but a lot of people do not know. And trust me, if they put this fan in TV to begin with, a lot of the TV will not even go bad, which is very bad for the businesses, but very good for consumers like us. So anyway, so the main thing I wanted to share with you guys in this video and how I fix this. I'm going to show you the multimeter part as well, but I would say you can skip this part if you have certain knowledge how to test the main board. Again, I should have mentioned, I forgot to completely mention as well. The problem in this TV was when you turn on the TV, it shows you the Vizio sign. It just lights up, for like few seconds, for 3-4 seconds. It shows you Vizio, lights up like completely normal, but then it shuts down. And I know sometimes the backlight, this controller, yeah, that's what it calls, backlight controller. Sometimes inverter, backlight inverter. Sometimes those are bad, or maybe some LED strips or LCD strips are bad in general. So when the TV turns on, it basically shuts down because one of the tube or LED is bad. So how you find that issue is you use like your cell phone, flashlight, you kind of go on the TV and try to see if you can see through the flashlight. If you can see it, that's a clear, clear answer that your TV is working, it's on, but the backlight or something with the LCD is broken. So that's where you try to replace this puppy, or maybe somehow this little inverters are bad, they're not converting the voltage right. To light up the big screen. So anyway, in this issue, in this case, in my TV, the problem was the TV will turn on completely normal for a few seconds, shows Vizio, and then it shuts down. And then you try it again, the power light there or here, blinks like 15-16 times, slow, it'll keep on blinking, but then it'll just shuts down. You try it again with the remote, it turns on, shuts down. So okay. So of course I started this way. I tested all these, board I'm going to show you later. But in this one, a lot of people say baking the board, make it work. I was not comfortable, like I mentioned, because all these, even if you remove these things. Yep. Here you can clearly see these are plastic. I'm not saying how safe these are, but to be honest, I was not comfortable leaving this puppy putting in an oven for 300-400 degree Fahrenheit. I was just not comfortable. So again, the very first thing, the easiest way, you know, nobody shares this online, and this is just weird. But the easiest way I found this to fix it, this is the main heatsink. There are two main ICs. One is here, which you can see the sign, and one is right here. And how do I know all that? You can kind of see from right here. Hopefully I can show you that. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit. Right down there, that's a heatsink you can see right below. And I'm actually trying to show you right here. That's one IC, and the other one is located right under here. Not this, but it's kind of hidden. But anyway, what you have to do, that's where you need a heat gun like this, and you need some sort of like a board. Even though if you blow the heat gun straight on the top, not a whole lot of heat going around, but just to be safe. And this is the easiest method that I came across. Let me get something so I can maybe do a very, you know, similar method that I did for myself. So yeah, give me just 1 second. I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I just brought two papers. Simple. Try to get maybe a little more thicker one. I just had this, you know, laying around. I just quickly got it. So what you have to do is you have to basically put the paper like this. And paper again might little smoke when you heat it. That's why I said get a little thicker one. Doesn't matter what paper. Try to get a little thicker. If not, you know, paper is totally fine. It's better than nothing. Even though if you don't use anything, I think it'll still work. But, you know, just to be safer side. This is all you have to do. Do not even unplug all the cables. Do not remove the screws, all that stuff. Do not do any of that. Simply put the papers like this. Now you're completely exposed to the heatsink. Plug this puppy in the power, turn it on, and just roll this around for a few minutes. And I actually have a infrared, like a laser temperature sensing thing. That's kind of optional, but that was helpful in this case. So I knew what the temperature of my heatsink is. So I kept going for a few minutes. I was testing with the my infrared sensor thing. It basically like a laser thing. It tells you from far away. It's Black & Decker. I'm sure a lot of you know already. But yeah, it basically tells you the temperature. So I keep heating this puppy, and mostly I was trying this way because this is what I was told by one of the video, that this is what mainly goes bad. So I was keep putting the heat mostly here, but kind of circling around here like that. And again, I did for, I would say 3 to 4 minutes, not a whole lot. And on the lower setting, by the way, it was not going beyond 250 or 260 Fahrenheit. I wanted to go a little higher, so I had to bump up the speed, the full speed. It has low and high. I had to go on the high one, gave it a few more seconds, and it reached like 300, I think 20 or so. Could have gone higher, but I just stopped right there. I'm like, nope, it was so hot. I mean, you can feel the steam coming out at 300 some degrees. So I'm like, nope, that's it. And then I kind of pressed a little bit with something laying around. That's why you see this mark. It's not original, but nothing to worry about. Just let it cool down. And again, when you're doing all that, make sure the power cable is unplugged. We do not want the power to be flowing around to these ICs. And remove the paper, let it cool down. Give it like 5-10 minutes. When it cooled down to a normal temperature, plug the TV in and test. I'm positive if you had this similar issue where people say the board is bad, you need to pay, I don't know, hundreds of dollars to replace the board or throw the TV in trash. This will fix your TV. It fixed for a lot of people I read online. I was just not comfortable putting this in the oven. I tried this method and that worked. I'm very positive a lot of you will be very happy when your TV will be working with the simple technique of using this heat gun. But yeah, that was one thing that fixed my TV. I was amazed to see my TV light up completely normal. I was able to connect to the Wi-Fi, you know, then I can surf YouTube or Netflix and all of the good stuff. Now let's jump to the second quick thing. I'm not going to waste, I know this video is getting long. I don't want to waste too much time, but I can quickly show you how to test this, and then I'm going to talk about the fan, which is the most important part to avoid this issue happening again. I mean, I guess going back to this a little bit. So the problem, why this happens, because you see this, how thick the heatsink is. The problem is when the TV is running and you're watching, any of the app, Netflix or YouTube or any of those, this TV is processing like computer. It has literally like a CPU like computer. It has literally a, processor. And it generates a lot of heat. I mean, there's a reason why computer in CPU, there's a big heat sink, there's a big fan that's running non-stop as you turn on the computer. But in TVs, they do not have that. But yeah, it was getting so hot, I was not able to even touch it. And I'm like, this is not normal to be, I mean, it's normal for TVs, but this is not good for electronics to be that hot. And that's where I came up with this fan idea. I basically, you know, mark where the exactly heatsink is located and where this upper IC is. And so that's where I kind of, you know, use one of my what they call little, that, you know, circle thing that you put on the drill machine, that little bit or something. I basically poked a lot of holes in the TV, and the best thing about nowadays, every TV has USB, so that makes your life easier. I simply put little screw here in plastic, just went through it, just put 2 screws. It's pretty solid. Connected this USB cable that was just laying around, positive to positive, negative to negative. As far as fan voltage, this is 12 volt, by the way. And of course, USB spits out like 5.1 volt or 5 volt, 1 amp, I would say, for TV. I know it's lower amp, but lower voltage as well. But you don't need a lot of voltage in this case. Why? Because, you know, this is a 12 volt fan. If you give 12 volt, this is going to work like a jet engine. You know, it'll be so fast. You don't need something super fast, then it'll be noisy, and of course nobody wants to hear noise when they're watching TV. So you want something to be very cool and calm and low, you know, speed, because you're just cooling down a tiny heatsink, which is perfect in this case. So I'll show you how it runs and how the speed is. It's perfect. I tested it, and it runs like a very slow, low speed, and it's perfect to keep this heatsink cool. Like a computer, like you don't hear the computer fans, you know, as loud as you're running on a full speed, but they're just fast enough. But anyway, again, this fixed my TV. But if you want to test this, because before, I guess, doing that way, if your TV literally is dead in the sense you plug the cable, no light, no symbol, no Vizio, no light, nothing, it's possible your main board is, this power supply is bad. And how you test it, that's where this voltage comes in handy. So black is always ground. That's just the ground rule in electronics. Same here, black is ground, any other color is a voltage. So I basically put, you know, multimeter in ground and then 24 volt, and I was able to test 24 volt. As soon as you turn on the TV, it shows 24 volt. It's good. Same thing here. Everywhere it says 5 volt. 5 volt is this yellow one. Then 12 volt is this like a pinkish color or red color. These are both 12 volt, looks like. And that's how I was able to test. I'm not going to go, you know, deep in there because I know there's a lot of videos out there. But if your TV is dead, most likely your power supply is bad. If your TV shows Vizio and shuts down or not loading the firmware, then there's a different thing in the backside called EEPROM. I don't want to open this, but basically there's a little chip looking thing. It's called EEPROM. It's electronically basically keep your firmware inside. In some of the TV that does not load, that's where the EEPROM goes bad. It's located on what they call U, like umbrella 202. So when you remove this thing completely out, right on the back side, it's a small IC. It's called U2. It's right located at U202. And basically, you see how these numbers are. This like Q705. That's how it's called U202 in this Vizio model. I know maybe it's similar models too. But that's what I was thinking originally my issue is. And after testing this voltage, I knew my power supply is good. I was very positive. I was like, I don't want to spend money. I know my power supply is good. The problem is either here. That's what I was, originally thinking. And a lot of people on eBay or online shows, they can repair the board, but of course they don't tell you what exactly they do. I was not comfortable. I just don't know, you know, if they're really technician. I mean, we don't know their skill level. We don't know if they're really gonna fix it, or they're just gonna send it back and say, hey, they fixed it, or they couldn't fix it. So I just did not feel comfortable sending my board. So, but anyway, this is what I did, guys. It is working perfect, and you know, I can maybe quickly show you the TV is working like perfect. Yeah, I can show you that. Let me think what else I want to mention, but that's pretty much it, I guess. But yeah, fan. Yeah, let me maybe put this back like temporary, and I can show you how the fan is spinning, so that way you can see how it spins and the temperature. And this thing will get very hard. I did not, you know, it's somewhere my laser pointer thing, the temperature sensor. But take my words, this thing gets so hot. I mean, see the thickness. There is a reason this is thick. I mean, see from my finger, this is thick. Yeah, maybe I can show you with this little knob. I mean, look at this. This thing is good, like I would say 4-5 mm or something. This is very thick aluminum heatsink to keep things cool. And when I was watching the TV, I also noticed a lot of heat coming on the top because the TV was standing and I was watching for like 20-30 minutes, and I can feel the heat waves. Like literally you can put your hand on the top of the TV through the plastic and you can feel the heat. I'm like, wow, this is hot. This was very hot. And after I put this fan, like just this small fan, it was night versus day where this problem was fixed. And yeah, I guess I did not mention, I know the heat caused the issue, but basically what happens is, in general, if this heatsink or the IC stays, well, I should also mention about the computer because I'm actually in IT industry. So the reason the computer does not have these issues, because the computer processor in their motherboard, it sits on a bunch of pins. If you do not know about that, there's a lot of small pins, you know, in the completely processor socket, what they call LG on a ATX board. There's a lot of pins that basically processor sits on it. Then there's a little pin that you basically lock your processor in place. What it does is, you're not using a solder to connect your processor to the main board. You're basically using those pins like a little spring. They don't burn because they're like copper pins. Now in these TVs, they use solder to connect your main CPU or main processor to the board. Now being so hot for so long, solder has a certain melting point because it's getting so hot for so long. That is where, you know, that solder either melt too much or stay hot too long, where it dries out. So it's not good for this TV to stay hot for so long, which is why this happens to begin with, period. I mean, that's where if they put this literally $5, $10 fan, these TV will last way longer than they, you know, normally dies at. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you, you know, more information than, of course, you know, need to fix this TV. But I'm just sharing what I know about TVs or computers in general. But yeah, let me plug this cable and I'll be back. Give me just 1 second. All right, it was just a quick pause. But yeah, here I put this cable back. That's all I did. And I'm gonna plug this TV. I'm just gonna do a temporary so I can maybe show you everything. But yeah, I'm not gonna do anything permanent. But yeah, I'm just gonna plug the USB here. I see here, you can see that too. I just put a little shrink wrap or heat sink, or what they call shrink tube. I just soldered 2 wires, put a shrink tube to make it more look neat, and I just wrapped around with like just plastic clear tape and made it short so that it is not hanging around. And plug this in USB right here. That's it. Now the best part is that it only turns on when the TV is on. So here I'm gonna plug the power cable. It just turns on for a second just because it's getting power. Red light, there's a board light on the board. It basically shows, you know, there's a power coming. But yeah, the fan is off right now. The TV is off. I'm gonna turn on the TV, and here you see it just kicked on. And there you can see, guys. And that's what it was dying before. And here the TV is on. Yep, it's completely working. Again, you know, yep, it's no signal. It's working completely perfect. And again, it's working beautifully, like zero issues. But now you can see this fan is super quiet. I'm going to try to bring my mic close to it so you can maybe hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm literally next to the TV and I can barely hear, like very low noise. But if you're like literally 5 foot apart, 10 foot, you won't be able to hear this. This is so low volume. And see, this is like not even a dangerous, it's just a 5 volt. It's running very slow speed because it's a 12 volt fan. I'm giving a 5 volt. It's very slow. But TV is working perfect, like perfect. I used for like literally 1 hour, 2 hours yesterday. Zero issues, no concerns. And I was also keep putting my finger in there on the heatsink to check the temperature. I did not use any laser gun or something, and the temperature was, you know, perfectly normal, just warm, but not hot where it will be too concerning. And this is where I was saying, if you're using the TV and you put your hand like here, I mean, you can imagine the heat sink is here and you can feel the heat here, like really good heat. That tells you it's getting pretty hot inside. But now I did this small hack, I can say, to avoid this issue happening again. But again, at the end, I paid 20 bucks for this TV. The remote was included. Used my heat gun, existing heat gun, to fix it. Just maybe, I mean, fan was laying around, but pretty much nothing I paid for this TV, to be general. But I have this TV. But anyway, guys, try this hack on your TV. Let me know if you have any question. I would be happy to answer, at least as much as I know. I will be happy to answer. Hopefully, you know, if one person get the TV fixed after watching my video, I would think, I think my video served the purpose to save you any money, and you don't have to throw this TV in the trash. I hate to see TV in trash. I have picked up in past. I was able to fix it. I know a lot of people throw all day long, you know. So yeah, if you can fix it in TV, I would be very happy to find out. Please leave a comment down there if you were able to fix your TV or what else is happening. I will be happy to, you know, tell you what I think could be a problem and what you should do to maybe, you know, help out. So let me know. Anyway, guys, please like, share, and subscribe this video if you like this video, you know, so I can maybe post similar videos in future. And I'm positive you would like it if you like this video, because I just create the videos for the DIY, the projects I do in my house. And I know a lot of the people have the exact same issue. So, you know, why not help each other? So yeah, you're most welcome to watch more videos, and feel free to leave a comment. I would be happy to answer back. But thank you for watching, and peace out, and enjoy your day. Thank you so much.